on to my next discussion, I think you were talking about leadership. How do you build a unique, distinctive style when it comes to leadership?
Again, I mean, there are many of them have worked for me, and I had a kind of send off party where everyone spoke about what they really enjoyed working with me. The pattern I found out is I have always kept it real, and I have also shown the vulnerability, and I have also kind of explained to them that I have made the mistakes. It's not like I have made the mistakes. It is okay to make a mistake, just learn from it, and don't repeat it. Just to make people feel comfortable in who they are. I mean, truly, right? If I have to take an analogy, there are schools which I've come across, not only in this part of the world, even other part of the world. They actually advertise to get the best of students to show they've produced the most amazing results. Similarly, I have seen a lot of people I have worked with and so-called leaders, because they've got the designation, so they think they're leaders. First of all, designation and becoming a leader is independent. Someone can be a business analyst, they can still be a leader. Someone can have a designation but still may not be a leader. So what I was coming to is, so-called leaders, they have kind of cherry picked people from different teams and practices, just to by showcasing the power, I can make it happen for you, promotions and stuff. They're still not perceived as a leader. People are unhappy, but people put up with it because they've got the power, right? So distinctive leadership style, when I say, is I think be who you are, allow your team to be who they are, and make them feel valued, and they will deliver the best. As simple as that. I don't think there is any other sophisticated science over here. Be who you are. That means show your vulnerability, accept the mistakes we make. We all make mistakes. And allow the team to be who they are. I mean, I am hiring for my organization, and recently I put up a post. Now, one of the key USP I put is, we will allow you to be who you are and still produce great results as a team. That's what I believe in.
No, talking about vulnerability, even I used to think that, leaders are fully 100% perfect. But, as you go ahead, you understand that they are not perfect. In fact, leaders are somebody who are open about their, vulnerabilities, and they're very much aware about their strengths and weaknesses, and they try to cover weaknesses by having great teams around them. Few of the common traits which I feel a good leader have is also a good sense of humor, because they can always lighten up the mood.
Good one, yeah.
And also, I think they make other team members feel very important.
No, absolutely. Because you spoke about leadership, one thing which comes to my thought is, and this has been the question always for me, not that I've found an answer, I'm continuously searching for it, because whatever I have come across in my professional experience in the past 20 years is, and by the way, I've written about it also on my LinkedIn article, that, why lion is considered king of jungle? Why lion is considered the leader? And practical example, when I went to Tanzania for wildlife safari, I mean, two distinctive scenes, right? When the lion started walking, all the animals over there in the open field, they felt threatened and they ran in different directions. And similarly, when you go to the other part of the forest and you see not one elephant, herd of elephants, from insects to birds to other animals, feel absolutely confident being next to elephant. They don't feel threatened. They don't feel intimidated. Why we still, glorify lion as the king of jungle? Why not elephant? It's a question, right? Yeah. Because I think corporate structure, it is layered in a way that alpha is what made to look and perceive as a great leader. But it is not in the loud voice and threatening or intimidating people. That's not leadership. Leadership is coexisting with other animals in this case, right? And give them the sense of security and comfort. Anyway, this is for another, we can do one podcast on this itself, but this has always been a question, it's conditioned that lion is the king of jungle, not elephant.
No, it's a very interesting insight. Moving on, have you ever faced imposter syndrome by yourself, or have you had a feeling of imposter syndrome? And what are some of the effective strategies which can somebody use to kind of overcome this feeling?
Yeah, I think, see, to be brutally honest, I think anyone at any given point in time in their professional or a personal journey would have always felt they don't belong there. And many a times I have felt I don't belong there, right? And that I can tell you, I had one of the fabulous, most intellectual mentor. I'll give you an example. Multiple times I've gone and told that particular mentor that, you know what, I will get to senior consultant and that's it. I will leave consulting. I've said the same thing when I became manager. I've said the same thing when I made a senior manager. I said the same thing when I made director and I said, that's it. I don't think beyond this I want to grow, because I don't think there are certain qualities and attributes and traits which is expected to just survive there. I would want to, because my values are completely different. But I made partner also. Did it come easy? No. You know who has helped me. So I made partner also. Throughout the journey, people will have that, am I good enough? Will I be able to make it? Will I be successful? It's quite natural, right? The only way I would say to manage that is to do not stop that thinking coming to your mind. Let it come. Instead of worrying about it, do I belong there? Keep working on what else you need to acquire in terms of skills and experience to be there, and seek a mentor and have an open conversation saying that, look, I believe these are the areas I feel I may be falling short of, and get help. It's absolutely fine. I don't believe in, fake it till you make it. In fact, there is something called Dunning-Kruger theory. I mean, you can actually look up if you have not come across that. In an organization, the way I see it is, Dunning-Kruger theory is people who do not understand anything, who do not know anything, they've got the highest level of confidence. People who are a subject matter expert or so-called guru, right? They've got a great confidence, because they know what they know. They also know what they don't know. And people who fall in between are the people who will always have the imposter syndrome. I know something, but am I good enough in that particular area? And I also don't know. They always worry about what they don't know, right? My experience, majority of the people in any industry, in any organizations, based on the sample size I have seen, they actually fall on the other side of it. Absolutely ignorant to know they do not know. So they have the highest level of confidence, right? So people who fall in the bucket of thinking, am I good enough, and all those things, right? It's natural. Do not control. If one believes, they have this constant doubt of, am I good enough? Can I do well? And so on and so forth. Find a mentor, have an open chat, and don't worry about things you do not know. Worry about things you know and how well you can sharpen, and then over a period of time, learn other things. But I would never recommend, fake it till you make it.
No, I think the one thing which I have done and which kinds of helped me to, because as you said, this feeling is very natural. It keeps coming to your mind, and it kind of make you demotivated. That do I belong here? Do I deserve this? What I do is, whatever goal I have, I work hard towards that. And once you're working towards that, automatically that confidence starts building it up, right?
Absolutely. And this is also part of fear of failure. That I would connect imposter syndrome and all these things also is a fear of failure, right? Someone who is willing to fail, right? I mean, Rohit Sharma, when he never used to open the innings for Indian cricket, right? He was given the opportunity. Do you mean to say now the World Cup winning captain Rohit Sharma, who has won so many titles for Mumbai Indians, he was always confident? I don't think so. He would have had his own nervous energy. When he was asked to open, new ball will be swinging. Will I perform? If I don't perform, will they ask me from the team? 100%. The imposter syndrome of to be able to open with Sachin or Sehwag or equivalent, right? 100%, right? But how well you take the opportunity and sharpen your skills. And you need to have a good mentor. Maybe in Rohit Sharma's case, his opening partner pair would have given that confidence and he has flourished. The same person could have been termed as a failure if he was not given enough time to prove and perform.
So no, exactly. So this Rohit Sharma example, it's exactly what we're trying to talk is the theme of this podcast. Again, if he would have a feeling of a perfectionism that I need to be perfect to open, and if he would have that feeling, he would have never got to open. In fact, he was ready to, fail, try, and take the opportunity to best of his ability, and that's how he kind of
Yeah,
succeeded.
but he would have definitely felt a psychological safety, someone backing him. Fine, you want me to try, I'm going to try, right? So many people would need the psychological safety, but the thing is, take a step, try it out. I'm sure that this podcast, whether it's the first episode or this, many people are going to have different views. I'm not saying don't worry about it. Filter the noise. If it's a good feedback, we got a good feedback from thanks to our friend, he gave a feedback and we are going to use that. And if you believe certain feedback are not good for us to continue, and it is coming absolutely baseless, don't worry about it. That's how I would say.
Now that we've explored some of the external factors that also drive success in corporate career, I want to take our discussion to a slightly different direction. The first thing which I want to discuss with you is that why as a society tends to value money more than the time. Yeah, it's a common mindset, but again, why do society do that, or why do people do that?
I cannot kind of generalize why society thinks that way, but my personal view, I can talk about it, and what I think why society does, I can talk about it, but I can't generalize. Yeah, in simple terms, you can flaunt wealth, and you can flaunt wealth through money, and the acquisition you do through money. It could be a sea facing villa, you may be driving Bentley, you may be wearing the best of watch. I'm not wearing watch, but yeah, through various possessions and acquisitions, right? It can be flaunted and it is visible, it is tangible, compared to how the world and the society views is for someone to say, what, I actually played 10 games of chess with my young boy or girl. I went for a walk along the Thames for about 15 kilometers with my elder brother. No one will care about it, because the social structure as well as the social media has also come into place to glorify. You look at some of the YouTube shorts, or I don't know, I've heard about Insta Reels, I'm not there. Is some of these captions are, someone has made $1 million at the age of 19, 40 under 40, 30 under 30. I wonder what will they do after 40, right? So everything is glorified towards acquisition of wealth and possessions through the money, because it is tangible. And that is the common definition of success. And that is why people end up valuing that. Yeah. Why people value that is, that means those are the people who value validation and external applause. People who value validation, people who value validation and external applause will invariably focus on wealth and possessions earned through that wealth.
Yeah, because this is how the society has structured. The more the wealth is,
Absolutely.
the more you will be glorified, the more you will be perceived as successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but also now, with this generation, what I feel is there's a self-awareness which has come up that we as a human will live 70 to 80 years, right? And during that time, we need to also have fun. So they are willing to work super hard, but now they're been asking for or prioritizing time for their own well-being.
That'll be brilliant, because everyone talks about return on investment. My brother had written an article about the only thing which is finite is your life on earth.
Yeah.
And no one knows about it, right? You can live till 80, you can live till 90, we can live only till day after tomorrow. No one knows about it, right? I don't think that kind of a mindset and wisdom has come to a lot of people, that time is finite. And why don't I focus on how I want to spend time? I know someone who I also consider who I also consider as my mentor. I'm not going to take the name, right? When I was having a conversation, getting some guidance, that particular individual very clearly said it's absolutely right concept. And hence, now I'm focusing on how I spend my time and who do I spend with. But it takes time for people to get to that place, because there is a Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As you keep going over the need from food, safety, shelter, love, affection, etc., you would get to a stage where you would see, I'm going to focus on myself and the near and dear ones. But again, it's a journey. Same question asked me when I was 23 or 24. I don't think even I could have understood the question, because it's always about wealth, right? Now I think it's a balance. It's a balance, and going back, yeah, because social structure is built in a way that what you can flaunt is only wealth, not the time you spend
with your
with your near and dear ones, or not a time you spend on painting, or not a time you go for a walk. No one will be
no,
even
definitely,
interested.
definitely, people will think he's actually wasting his time, or he's wasting his valuable time.
And the worst case is, even though you go for a walk over the weekend, corporate structure is built in a way someone will say, oh, he didn't achieve his target. I know, because there's no focus. He's going for a walk with his dog and wife. It is what it is, right? I mean, so it's very important to understand, but I don't think it's fair to expect that from a very young professionals. It takes time.
Interesting, you were talking about return on investment, and I think you have written an article that how one can go about calculating their own time value or personal time value.
Yeah, I think again two parts. First I'll talk about personal value of time. I will kind of slightly rephrase that. One is for your professional life, and then we'll talk about the personal life. In professional life, the way I look at it is pretty simple. Let's say 45 hours a week you work for an organization, and then assume there are 52 weeks in a year. You take some training time, vacations and stuff. Assume you land up with maybe 44, 45 weeks, right? So 44 weeks or 45 weeks into 45 hours a week will give you some kind of a number of hours you spend in your professional life, right? This is as per what is there in the contract. But let's be honest, in a consulting world or in a software services world, that we might end up working more than that. So instead of 45 weeks, we might end up working even for 48 weeks, considering some of the overtime and things what you work on, right? Whatever is the number, that's the total number of hours, right? Yeah. And then you look at what you get paid for in terms of, let's take in US dollars, and the bonus and the overhead and the insurance and whatever other benefits. You put dollar value for all of these things. And let's say I'm just making up, right? Just to make sure our audience understand the math. Let's say it's 150,000 US dollars is the cost to the company, right? And we said 48 into 45, whatever is that math is, I don't have it on top of my head. So let's say, $150,000 is the cost of the company, and then 2,200 hours you've worked. Maybe its average equates to some $68. So your value, the company associates for you, is for every hour you spend in your professional environment is $68, right? There's nothing right or wrong. But now you have to take the other side of the equation. If you have a personal target in terms of becoming financially independent, and within X number of years, you should be able to work backward to see how much your personal time, value of your personal time for every hour should increase. If it's 68, and whatever that number is, you don't have to tell me the number, maybe that $68 an hour should go to $200. Then you need to do what you need to do. But the question is, are you getting enough time to work on your skills, enhancing and so on and so forth, to go from 68 to 200? Or it's going to go from 68 to 73 when you get promoted. That's one part.
No,
right?
Exactly. So I think we all look as a monthly compensation rather than, calculating per hour what you get. Nobody thinks about it.
Yeah, you need to think about it, because, to be fair, the corporates, right? Corporate, whoever has put the money, it is absolutely right from their part. They have invested the money and they need to make profit. That's absolutely right. I'm not saying that is not right, but we have to be loyal to ourselves. That means we need to focus on increasing the value of dollar we get paid for hour. Equate that to becoming financially independent. And that's what you need to work on. The question is, you don't have, if you're working 2,200 hours in a year, on this one, where are you getting time to equip yourself to go from $68 an hour to $200 an hour? And this is, the life goes on between these two battles, right? And the personal life, I would say, don't put any dollar value. I mean, it's invaluable spending time with your newborn, bonding with your toddler, playing cricket, or coaching them on chess or cricket, or going for a bicycle ride, or spending time with your parents. No values. you should not put a value, and these are the things you should also focus on doing in parallel to becoming financially independent, because you don't want to be financially independent and your kids do not recognize, oh, this is my father who is walking there with a lot of money. There's no point. So there's a balance for both.
As you said, that the kids don't recognize our parents because
Yeah,
parents.
I've been lucky
Yeah.
that my son knows my name.
Yeah.
I have spent time with him. But yeah, I'll be very honest. He's 9 years old now, and I can't, feel the moments where, from a newborn when I held him in my hand to he becoming 9 years, I've lost the track of time. But weekends have definitely spent time bonding with him, and yeah, my son knows me.
It's pretty good that even with such a hectic job, how you've been able to have a good bonding with your son. As we are wrapping our episode, I think last thing what I want to discuss is what's your take on ego, and how can one keep a check when it comes to ego.
Look, I don't know the fundamental definition, but one thing I keep doing is I've written about it as well. Play a sport with kids. They are highly competitive, and they are much more skilled. And getting defeated by them is definitely will make you keep your ego in check. Second thing is also to take time to teach kids whatever they are, whichever grade they are in, whether it is math, science, and stuff. I'm pleasantly surprised that whatever I studied in my engineering as an engineering drawing, where you have a top view, side view, and all those stuff, those are being taught for kids in third and fourth grade. So these two things will definitely keep your ego in check on a very lighter note. Apart from that, I think see, ego is good as long as it doesn't make you feel superior to anyone else. As long as it also doesn't make you feel you're inferior to someone. So as long as it's leveled and is something is a result of your own self-respect, what you believe about yourself, it's absolutely okay.
No, I think my 2 cents are you need to be you need to have a self-awareness of if your ego is causing you harm or causing you a good. In my case, I always had this ego of always managing difficult projects or difficult situations. But if I look at larger scheme of things now, if you have to manage or drive bigger things, you have to be mentally sharp. And if you keep draining your energy on, like, let's say, always difficult situations, I mean, now I feel that my ego of managing difficult situation is causing me more harm than good.
Yeah, see, because you're talking about it again, I came across this one particular content on the internet, but I was able to relate to it. This one fabulous actor was being interviewed by one of the very famous journalists. At the beginning of the interview itself, that particular intellectual actor, right? Okay, well read, apart from whatever degree they have got, mentioned in the universe, Earth is like a speck of dust. Now, within that, I'm a big hero and you're a big journalist, and we are having a great conversation and we are feeling very great about ourselves. In the large scheme of things, we are nothing, right? So these kind of things also kind of brings me back thinking that we are, as long as we are living life, I'm not talking about breathing, living life, doing things which gives us joy, and do not feel ourselves as superior to anyone, it's absolutely good. Neither do have to feel inferior to anyone.
With this, we are wrapping our second episode. Please subscribe to our channel.
Thank you.
Thank you.